Hey everybody, Shamanic here. So many times I'll hear things like, oh, there must be something really going on behind the scenes, behind the matrix. I feel all these shifts and changes coming and more new age, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, okay, so, I mean, if you're paying attention, there's always shifts and changes happening. And depending on how aware you are, you're going to be able to go deeper, have a wider range of perception. But how do you know in detail what it is? Remember that everything that comes to us gets filtered through our brain, our belief systems, our hopes, dreams, fears. We don't really see the absolute truth. I mean, we really can't. It's kind of like you put on binoculars to see farther. Your vision quality is a little bit dictated by the quality of those binoculars, weather, barometric pressure, and so on. Well, the same thing with you. You're you're your own universe, and stimuli comes in, and it gets interpreted. It's at the best description. So, how do you or how does the shaman know really what's going on behind the scenes? You have these trigger points or different things that you can do to kind of like spiritual radar or sonar. You're going to send a signal out and see what you get back. And this is why apprenticeships are so important for all those people that just poof, their spirit guide told them, or shaman, or they channeled their cat. No, you need training. You need experience. You need information relayed on to you after years and years of application. And it's important. The best opportunity is that you get to work beside the shaman that's training you, and you get to watch them work, watch them change in their process depending on the environment and the people that they're working with. So, for instance, I have two apprentices up in the around Albany, New York area, the northeast part of the country. Northeast, remember that? That's chaos and warrior. And the things that they're describing to me, it could be something passing, because you get these people say these channels are opening up, this vortex is opening up. Oh, no, maybe it's just kind of like a burp in the system. It's just a little quirk, and you kind of look around like, oh, that was interesting. Or it might be something that really opens up. I remember back early 70s when Taos, New Mexico, Sedona, Arizona looked like someplace you just want to use as a nuclear waste dump. And now, for years, it's been these spiritual meccas that people go to. Asheville, North Carolina. I remember a lot of that area was sundown towns. I remember if you're driving through there, you don't want to get kidnapped by the Cherokees, late 60s, early 70s. And now it's all rainbow flags and new age bookstores. So things change. So a lot of it is what these guys are kind of reporting back from feedback and the things that they're seeing with people is deeper, more intricate energies. The one, John, he's been with me for a while, makes these excellent masks. It's an old art, but he just jumped right into it, and he's on fire with it. Cameron, his buddy, just signed on, and they're both kind of experiencing a lot of things. Both of them are in the first responder industry, 20 years old, both of them. And so in the higher magic part, the creativity, the sexuality stuff that people are asking about. And it's a touchy ground, because while sexual energy, sex magic, and things like that are always part of real metaphysical studies, shamanism, and so on, of course, everybody wants to jump into that one first without any kind of real information. And it becomes lessons on damage control, and consequence. But now at the second wave, that's coming through about 6 months after the first one, it's a more clear understanding, of structured ceremony, geomancy, which goes along well for early summer. And I can see how things can fall in. And if I go up there like I'm thinking I will, to maybe do a sweat lodge, then that's not just a regular sweat lodge. There is no such thing really. Except for what people see on pictures and movies. We may do one with the base element of silica, meaning like sandbags and things like that. And I know all the traditionalists will comment all kinds of stuff. but it's the element of the lodge is really important. I've done a couple subterraneans. They were underground. They were in hillsides. Then this Melaleuca, hazelnut are my favorites to work with. And, of course, the geomancy of how I'm laying it out and the rest of the alchemy. So we're still working in details. And when you're having these conversations on the physical plane, it's that sends out that pulse that you're getting the message. Because of the different time constants, the source of the message, and you may not be able to have that, real-time conversation or interaction unless you're in a really, really well-designed geomantic and alchemical site. And so as we're feeding around that, so if anybody else is in the New York area and you want to leave a comment on this video about dreams that you've had, things that you're noticing, this is all really good input for us. Keep it to bullet points. We don't have time to be reading, books that you want to write on the comment section, as descriptive you may be. If what your bullet points are really kind of like aligning with what we're seeing or off track but makes a lot of sense of how it could fit with what we're doing, yeah, we'll call you up and we'll get like a Zoom call and, listen to what you have to say. But it's really important in the shamanic world that shamans get a lot of feedback and observations and things from the everyday public, from the people that they're working with in that area. And so as I travel around a lot, and so I have different people in different areas that are doing apprenticeships or they're shamans that I've trained in the past, and that's their home base. Then we can then coordinate and start to map it out of what's happening in a region, in a hemisphere, or even globally. See some commonalities, because then I can contact other shamans in other countries and go, hey, we're seeing this here. What are you getting? Now, the stimuli, we could all be getting the same stimuli, but there's also the cultural filters that it comes through. So in these bigger meetings, whether they're in person or on the internet, we take all the things that are in common with all the places that we get information from, and we're just going to call that, our alleged universal truth. I say alleged because we're still human beings. And then kind of plot out a course that we can do globally. So that's some of the interesting things that about shamanism in the 21st century, 25 years into it, is the communication stuff. Stuff like this right here was impossible, not that long ago, especially when I was being trained. So I'll leave it at that. Check out my buddy John Rudat. He's on here, and well, I'm a technosaur still, but if I get anything else coming up, I'll let you guys know. Till then, catch you later.